here we go. It's like this. My title, and I'll explain why it's like this. Got the generator going this morning. Wasn't easy. We have an all-day blackout. Unfortunately, I already finished my tea. I'll wait till a few people show up on here. You know what they say, build it and they shall come. Okay, we got a few people showing up here this morning. In all gratefulness for my generator, as rickety-rackety as it is, just got it started. Can't pull on that rope. It's not an automatic electric start. Can't pull on that rope too often. I got a problem with the gas flow. I figured out what the problem was. All on my own, yeah. But we're going to have a blackout today. Call it what it is. They call it brownouts. They call it blackouts. At least where I come from. 5 in the morning to 5 p.m. But man, we got the one blessing today is that it's not an air-conditioned day at all. It is actually cool out there. I'm talking about I got up, it's actually put on a jacket cool, if you can believe that. And sometimes a little bit blustering of the wind. A very cool morning. But through some diligence and whatnot, I got this damn thing working. Finally. Okay, what does it cost for gasoline out here? And potentially how much would actually run you till 5 o'clock p.m.? It's kind of a hard one. But I could tell you that a approximately 5-gallon gas container would cost about 1,370 pesos for that. Now, the tank in the generator is full, or mostly. There is a little bit of a leakage here and there, but you get a couple of hours or so on a full tank of a generator. And I would probably say that with the gasoline that I actually have, I could maybe go beyond lunch, but I'd have to get a refill on that. So for one day, it could potentially cost you up to $30-35 really to run a generator. However, having a generator, I think everybody needs one that has a house, whether you rent it or whether you actually own a house. I'm going to address a few things here this morning while I've got internet. And, God, I never have data on this phone. And you have to combine the cost of having internet, because I'm dealing with SpaceX, whatever, and then putting loads and data, whatever, on your phone. That can get awfully expensive. Everything adds up. That's why we all talk about the expenses of living out here. If you can't cut it, don't move out here. But I want to cover a few things on here, actually. Mr. Don Crawford, I got like a little something for you here. You know, you're a senior. I don't know if you need medicine or not, but I would definitely think that you need some counseling. As our friend in the jail cell likes to say, you're a grown-ass man who's behaving like a child. Look, you don't like me, I don't like you. That's very apparent. But act like an adult. You moved to a different country, whether it's the Philippines or Thailand, it don't really matter. You moved to a different country. You got a wife, enjoy her, enjoy your life in Thailand. And stop spending so much time on me. Basically, a lot of times you make a mockery of yourself by the amount of time that you spend. Now you're getting into the little video skits like Popeye, I see a pattern here. To try to prove yourself all the time. What do you feel that you need to prove all the time? That's the question I have for you. Why do you feel you need to prove yourself? You shouldn't have to. Live the life that you were meant to live, and the reason that you moved to to Thailand actually in the first place. I don't care about your opinion, Mr. Crawford. I really don't. I really don't. You're not hurting my feelings, as Bummer likes to say, okay? You're not hurting my feelings. But you need to stay out of my business. And I don't go into your business. I really don't. Oh, by the way, it is true that Don Crawford did help Nika out with a few repairs around the house, and we thank Don for that. I'm thanking you, Don. However, the reason or motivation to do so, that's another question. But it was the same period of time when he understand that he was trying to get her to, see a lawyer of his. It didn't work out, but nevertheless, there was the buttering the toast portion of this, and that came to cooperation of seeing a lawyer. You are clever, Don. You are clever in your own ways, but you're stupid in many other ways. Now, I'm not downing myself, but it's not worth your oxygen on me, nor is it worth my oxygen on you, or anybody else for that fact. Now, Barry, listen up, Barry. Whether you want to deny it or not, you did something wrong. And again, it's not just words, certain words. It's things you really can't do. There are laws in this country, whether you like them or not, unless you want to try to rewrite the laws in this country, you can't rewrite the laws, Barry. And I'm just basically intolerant of you. You've had many, many chances to redeem yourself in a small way, but you did not do that. Do what you feel needs to be done. That's all I could tell you. And I'm going to do what I need to be done. Let's get this trial over with. Let's get this thing going. And wherever it goes, it goes. And ultimately, no matter what you think, or I think, or what I say, or you say, it's going to be up to a judge to make a decision what he wants to do with you. Your continuance of saying, I'm not letting up on you, I'm not going to stop. I could honestly tell you, Barry, Mr. Jordan, that's really not going to help your situation at all. And I know you want eventual freedom, and I know you want to get out of that cell. I understand that. I'm not an ignoramus like you. I understand your situation. I know the conditions are pretty shitty in there. For anybody, even for you, as much as they don't like you. It is shitty. In fact, it's horrible. It's horrible. Will I say you deserve it? In some respect, I say you do deserve it, but I don't think any person in general deserves it. You've done a lot of shitty things, Barry. You know you have. Stop denying it, because everybody knows your history. They've been listening to you for like 10 years or something, and everybody knows your history. Just face the reality that you've done wrong. You've done wrong with the immigration. Everybody has to pay their visa fees. That means also you. You hid over at your girlfriend's place. Started off mostly a good deal of time at Wow, and then you took refuge at your girlfriend's place. That's what you did. So you got her involved. You did, whether you like it or not. And then further, when she does a complaint on me, you got her involved, whether you like it or not. whether she likes it or not, you got her involved. There's like a series of events that kept on happening with you where you refused to stop. And I don't understand your psychology. It's very difficult to understand your psychology other than saying that you're not the brightest light bulb in the package, but what behavior you are actually exhibiting is very questionable behavior for a man who seeks some kind of freedom and wants to go on with his life. And you're not doing it the right way. And no, let me straighten you out on something that I need to straighten you out on once and for all. When you pleaded guilty on all 5 charges. There was no specification that because all the charges are just different charges on the same thing, on different events. In other words, calling me a pedophile and stuff like that. Each one has a charge on that for each time that you came on and called me a pedophile and even made threats. Now, although the threats are not part of the makeup of this case, it's an element, but there are videos. That's the second case. There are videos on camera and the whole 9 yards. That's, blatant threats. Now, you see what I got posted there? Those are threats. I think I have 2 videos on there, shorts on there. Those are threats. And these will be presented so that when the judge makes a decision, he's got more to go on. I wasn't totally satisfied with to be honest with you, because we didn't put a lot into the affidavits against you when we presented to the prosecutor. It was adequate. And you did admit guilt to your crimes. But I just didn't feel that was enough, and that's why there'll be this other evidence introduced where you just never going to leave me alone. And even on your video yesterday, I don't understand if that bottle or rock or stick on your head made things worse for you, but you come out and say, yes, I'm guilty of inciting others against you. What do you think the judge is going to say when he hears that? Good morning, Brisket. I'm even fortunate I could be on here today. Total blackout all day today. Had trouble getting the generator started. Boy, it takes a lot of energy to pull that damn thing, let me tell you something. It's a gas flow problem, but it's working right now, but just an all-day event, so it took about a lot of gas, a lot of bullshit. And I'm just kind of going over a few things with Don Crawford and Barry and so forth. Yeah, I am 70 years old, and believe me, I know my abilities, I know my disabilities, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, but I don't have any weaknesses when it comes to getting justice on a situation, no matter what age I'm at. The court trial will continue on, even if I drop dead, the court trial will continue. And I'm really hoping that the judge gives you at least a few years on each count. That's what I'm hoping for. Like I said, I can't reach into my heart to find any kind of, there's something called jurisprudence, and, you have to look that up. But let's not get into that. Let's just say that what you did was not cool on any level, whether you did it to me, whether you said that to anybody else. Let's face it, this is not an isolated incident. I'm going to go over this just for the last time. This is not an isolated incident with you. Man just has completely lost it. His stream yesterday is a new low. Well, I think in his mind that he figures he's got nothing to lose at this point. He might as well go for bust. That's what I think. But I'm just sitting here at home and I'm not doing anything. I'm just letting him talk, let him do his shows. Because now I got more evidence on him, and I got some, and there were parts of the video I couldn't get on a remix or something, and I'm not going to say who sent me the video clips, no Buzzanallo, but somebody sent me, a familiar name, sent me the video clips that I needed. And at one point in there, he was saying, yeah, that's right, I'm guilty, I'm admitted, I'm inciting violence against you. Wow. This guy need a lobotomy? What does he need? Yeah, he's completely lost it being in there. I understand to a point, man. You know, I'm human. Being in that place, I mean, it's got to take its toll on you. I'll even say that. And I'm being generous. Now, the other thing, I'm just going to go over everything. I just want to reiterate on some things. I want to make some points on some things. Don Crawford, I want to get back to you again. Don, I don't like you either. It's apparent. But you know what? I'll read your comments in a minute there, folks. It's a mutual thing. We've established that. I personally don't think you helped Nika out without something attached to it. Now, Don actually helped do a few repairs, get a carpenter around the place. Although Big E claimed that too. I've had several people claim this, but not proof. Is Don C an unsung hero? No, he's not. Because he was motivated by trying to get Nika to agree to have a lawyer against me. Although it didn't work out for him, his whole motivation for helping her out was not by his heart. I don't think the guy has a heart. Okay, human rights. He is a handicapped. Clearly, he will never learn. I would block and never pay attention. I may do worse than that. This might be my final show on here. This might be my final show on here. I don't need the bullshit anymore. I'm a fucking senior. I've been on here long enough. They're getting old. I mean, you know, YouTube becomes an antiquity for me with the same old shit. Even Popeye, when he does his skits, he's using shit over and over again. People are burned out on Popeye, that's for sure. As far as I'm concerned, you know, people like Licky, he's a burnout. In all honesty, it's just a matter of time with him. Yeah, and you know, I'll spare you the health shit, okay? I'll spare you that. I'll give you that. How's that? I'll spare you that. But a lot of these guys are ticking time bombs ready to go off. We've lost a number of people already for whatever reasons. We've lost people, and it'll continue because, you know, life goes on, but so does death, and if you don't take care of yourself and all that stuff. But like I said, I have never claimed in any way that I'm a perfect health specimen. Believe me, I know my limitations. I absolutely do. I actually I don't feel any different than when I was maybe 30 years old, to be honest with you. However, I do got body aches and pains every now and again. Oh yeah. And other limitations. If it's just like a hard-ass, example, pulling on that cord on the generator, while my driver was around, I said, man, do me a favor, man. I just can't do this. I don't want to have a heart attack. I have certain limitations, and I'll admit to those limitations, but there are limitations. It's just about everything other than health. There's a limit to what I'm able to put up with anybody, whether it's on YouTube or in personal life. Okay, human rights. It's like arguing with a flat earther. You will not fix him. He will not be fixed. Yeah. As I said, I'm totally understanding of his frustration. He was really frustrated. He must have had a really bad day yesterday. Sometimes I know. I got my days too around here. I'm not always feeling very chippy and chirpy all the time. I have my days too. I'm not getting any fucking younger, man. All in all, my general health, I mean, I feel no different than when I was about 30 years old, to be honest with you, other than a few aches and pains. But in general, a lot of the tests were good. I got to go for that cholesterol thing. But as I said, I'm not going to dwell on this health shit. I can only tell you that I'm actually doing pretty well for my age bracket. So I'll leave it at that. But as far as other people on here, their time will come. I mean, everybody's time's going to come, but I'm being more specific. Their time will come. Look at some of the clowns on here that cause all the trouble. Look into their background, look into their present, weight issues, and potentially any other health problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all that. It's just a ticking time bomb. Just like Fazio's gone, he was a troublemaker. He'll never cause trouble again. The rest, well, not the rest of his life, because he's gone. People come and go. They all come and go. Yeah. Here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you why it's been hard for me to get off YouTube. Because on another level, I actually enjoy doing YouTube. I don't enjoy all the bullshit on here and how immature people are. And the way I see it, they've got their own personal problems that they have to deal with. And they feel that it's healthy to them somehow to kind of go off on other people on here. Like I said, they claim they have lives, but look at the time that they actually spend on here when they're actually claiming they got money and they got a family, and it's just amazing. The rule still applies that when you're retired in this country, specifically this country, as a retirement life, I'll say it again, it's not as exciting as you think it is. Unless you were blessed with youth, there's a lot more things you can actually do. That goes without saying. There are limitations to everyone, no matter what your age are. No matter what your age is. Okay, human rights. Like arguing with the flat earther, right? Yeah. You see, there's no arguing with people like this. In Barry's situation, you put me here, he says all the time. You put me here. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. You put yourself there. I want to make that perfectly clear to you. If you didn't do anything wrong, you wouldn't be there. But did I go through the legal system and get you there? Yes, I did. You don't have to be there, you know that. You should have had to been there. But for some reason you think it's glamorous or something to run your mouth like you do. Your famous words, run your mouth, run your mouth. What do you think you do, Barry? You can't put a show on without talking about me or, ragging on me and defaming me over and over and over again. So please understand, anybody's listening to my voice, understand something. Barry's getting what he really deserves. And I don't care if you're a troll or not. You know damn well that he belongs in this situation. He deserves to get whatever is coming to him. And I can't say everything that it is because I would not know. I'm not a guy with a robe on and a gavel. I couldn't tell you that with any honesty. I cannot. It goes. That's all I can do. Now, if the judge decides to be too lenient on him and just deports him or something, then so be it. He's already scheduled to be deported anyway. It's not a summary deportation. That's ready to go. At least that's guaranteed in his case. The deportation is absolutely guaranteed. And I feel that, yes, quite an accomplishment for me. It is. It's quite an accomplishment. I'm just not one of these guys that to stand back and just let people just run all over me. If it gets to an extreme point, now you got to understand, you got the people, the cowards, and true cowards that hide behind their cell phone or laptop and, blurt out all this bullshit. Now, getting back to Don Crawford. Don Crawford has basically flip-flopped any actual real information about me or stories. Now, I think most of you could probably figure that out, and if you haven't already. There's not anything that's came out of Don C's mouth that has been actually reality. He'll argue everything, whether I have a degree, or whether I'm happy, or whether my relationship is good. It's really none of his business, but he makes it his business. Why? I can't tell you why. Something psychological, something with his own lifestyle that is not up to par. And I'm not his counselor. I could only suggest to him, if he's not a candidate for medications of any sort, perhaps to look into counseling and understand why he's so adamant on finding fault with people and why he's not spending the golden years of his life just loving his woman and going on with his life in Thailand. And I can say that about numerous people, actually. Brisket, if he only brushed his mouth a few teeth as much as he likes running it. Oh, Barry. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Well, I know I sound like a broken record. I guess I'll continue to sound like a broken record. Just getting my point out. He has not been helping his situation at all, doing what he's doing. And I recognize it from, I'm honest enough and, to understand his frustration of his situation. But, when you really look back at this, I didn't cause this situation for him. And you got some people support him and there's some people that don't. But those that support him, you got to look deep inside yourself and say, well, you know what? I'm not in Frank's shoes. I wouldn't understand. But if you were in my shoes, you would understand. You got a family, you got a life in the Philippines, and somebody's trying to destroy it. And he could turn around and say, well, you're trying to destroy my life. I'm not trying to destroy his life. I want to get that straight. There is a certain amount of justice that needs to be applied to this guy because he obviously can't learn. And he makes the same mistakes over and over again. He doesn't seem to care. It's like he gave up on himself. I don't know if he did. He's got good accommodations as far as, he's got the run of the third floor. He's the boss. He's got his own little place. Don't have to put out any money every month for rent. Or with electricity that he's privy to. The guy's in his cell, plays games. It's the life of Riley. He's got his phone and continues to make very defaming and horrible allegations toward me. So if you don't understand so far why I'm so gung-ho on seeing that this guy gets what he deserves in the fullest extent of the law, then you'll never understand unless you're in my shoes. M. Lawrence, okay, good morning. Yeah, we got the generator flowing right now. We had a hard time starting that. It almost killed me doing that. This would have to be refilled. I don't know how many times this generator, because it's going to be off till 5 p.m. But fortunately, oh my goodness, fortunately, so far this morning, it's a very brisk temperature this morning. And a really good breeze, sometimes some gusts. So it's very comfortable. Don't have to run the AC. I mean, if the electricity has to be off, this is perfect temperature. But the generator is running. Old rickety rackety is running. Problem with the gas flow, and I've been playing around with it, got it working. Yeah. M. Lawrence says, bottom line, the bummer is for 7 years, chose not to pay his visa. You know, yeah, that's correct. And then, as I said, you have to put yourself in my shoes. Some people say that, oh, I'm going hard on him. No, I don't think I'm going hard enough, to be honest with you. Even with a second case, pending second case, I'm not. There's sometimes that you gotta stick up for yourself. There's sometimes that you have to say enough, put your foot down, and take a strong hold on a situation that needs to be remedied. Social media speaks very loud, and it doesn't have to do with how many subscribers somebody has on their channel. There are, as I said many times, there's a lot of transients that come on people's shows. They think you're TikTok or something, I don't know, they just flow in. Then they sit there and they hear these stories about a guy who's supposedly a child molester. They actually, don't know the history of what's going on, so they're like, oh, let me listen to this. Again, he talks about, what damage did I do to you? You did plenty of damage. You did plenty of damage. So people come in, they don't know what's going on. Oh, really? Someone did that? Word goes out to somebody else, networking. He did plenty of damage. But now he's going to have to pay for that damage. It's time to pay. Well, not all of my reputation, but on social media, certainly, not in my private life. But on social media, he sure did. The fact is, I enjoy doing shows, but to have to come up with a conclusion and say that maybe enough is enough, when I know damn fucking well, as much as I like to vlog, it has been taking a good portion of my time. As I said, I have a routine in the morning and I'll do shows. I've already, since the generation I already did my exercise shit. I didn't do a full thing of it, but I did. But it interferes with everything from my workout to my breakfast, my own socialization with my girlfriend and family by doing these shows. And everything I listen to on here is pure phony baloney bullshit to proliferate the hoped for damage against me. It's a total waste of time and oxygen. See, I got that 13 number again on here every time. There are 13 avid viewers. That's the difference. Or I do get a lot more than that, but there are 13 avid, diehard viewers on here. Don't matter whether they're big supporters or they're trolls, but I got 13 avid viewers. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I don't have a big channel. Never did. If I continued, I probably never will. Because I'm not trying to promote drama. I'm not putting a chick on camera. I'm not doing all that shit. I'm not doing clickbait. I don't do that shit. Let me get back to a few people. Brevis again. Drew, listen up, dude. It's really a matter of time before something's going to happen with you. Not through me. It won't be through me. And it won't be through somebody else I'm hiring or something. I'm not going to do that. But your disposition is really not a very good disposition. And people have taken notice of it, both on YouTube, and I'm sure in your personal life too. You've done a lot of wrong to people, Drew. And, there's always a payback time that'll come. I'm very confident of that. Your butt hurt because I refused you as a friend. But you have to understand something, Drew. Somebody comes over here unannounced like you did, and the first thing you say is, I'm this huge fan of yours. You gotta understand what was going on in my mind at the time. Let's be honest about this. I mean, it puts a question mark in my head. Is this guy mentally well? Is he a danger to me or my family? These are the things that anybody who gets a visit from somebody, like look what Brevis did to Nika. This is a prime example. She didn't know who the hell he was. Shows up, and she shouldn't have took him in. But he made a little promise, I'm going to try to help you. So she took him in, and, went on from there. The phone call with Nika was real. There's nothing choreographed in there. Never done anything to hurt the woman. In fact, she admitted I'm the first foreigner that has ever helped her. And I was glad to help. If I could continue to help, I might be doing that also. You don't understand her position. She's a very vulnerable woman with her health conditions. She's absolutely in dire straits. She's in dire straits. And I'm willing to be a forgiving person. As I said, I don't forget. I'm willing to be a forgiving person with some of the things she's done under the auspices of Don Crawford and whoever. I could be forgiving, but I don't forget. And there's some things I just cannot forgive. Let's face the reality that most of these people, and you guys have commented on this many times before, are real big behind the microphone, behind their laptop or cell phone. And as such, they feel they have, and Barry learned some new words, poetic license. Where does he get that from? But he feels he has poetic license, Don Crawford, to say whatever he wants, research me. I mean, I'd like to understand the abstract of his mind and how it works. Because the whole idea of retirement is to enjoy yourself, not to spend your whole time trying to find rhyme and reason to maim somebody, to defame somebody, to turn facts around, to make himself look good. So he got really disturbed. Let me tell you what really happened. He got really disturbed. He's the one that's also been saying, oh, I've hurt Nika, I've done this, I've done nothing to her, nothing but help her. But when he's seen that I actually had a phone call with her, but yeah, she did call me, just to get that straight. She did call me. To me and Gilda's surprise. She did call me. I even showed the phone on there with her name and number. It came on, It was on camera. She called me. She called me for help. Because Brevis turned around, who never helped her, and said, yeah, Frank's willing to help you out. The scumbag that he is. Again, never helped her. All he was interested is in the interview. That's all. Just an interview. We got a lot of sick people on here, but I can't solve people's problems. I'll just deal with my own when I have a problem. I can't solve everybody's problems. I'll just deal with what's put forth to me, and I'll remedy it, one way or the other. Barry being in jail is a prime example of such. Well, first of all, let me tell you something, Barry. No matter what you call me on YouTube, I don't have any reaction to it, really. You've called me these names before, nonstop. It doesn't faze me anymore, just to let you know. When you do a show, I just go to Gilda and say, Barry's running his mouth again. And she'll have a smirk on that, roll her eyes, whatever, Oh, again, Yeah, I said again, yeah. Italian brawler. Many keyboard warriors out there certainly is. And no one is ready to go mano to mano. Nobody's going mano to mano with me. And look, I'm realistic. I'm not saying that I can't defend myself, but even talking about violence to me, it's not part of who I am. My makeup, it's just not. I don't believe in violence in any way. Even if I ever got drafted, which by the way, Popeye, I never got drafted, I had bad hearing. They wouldn't have took me in anyway. It had nothing to do with being in college at the time, Don Crawford or Popeye. I got a bum ear. I couldn't be taken into service even if I was drafted. Nobody's a draft dodger because I never got drafted. Just to straighten that out. And chances are I wouldn't have went in anyway, even if my hearing was good. I'd probably be one of the dudes that went to Canada. I don't believe in killing other people because it's okay for the government to tell you to do it. Now, of course, if enemies came on home grounds, that's a different story. Enemy came into America and everybody had to defend themselves, certainly. Or if somebody came to my house with ill intent, you got to realize I'm at an age where I don't give a fuck anymore. If somebody came here for bodily harm to me and or my family, I will react to it in the greatest way that I could think of without care. Because I've lived my life. I still got a lot of life left into me. But I would certainly protect the people I love, and I would certainly protect myself. There would be nothing stopping me, and I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't worry about the police. Wouldn't worry about anything. If somebody came to my house with harm, I will face it. No, I don't run away from situations. When Drew came out here, again, I did not take 30 minutes to come out of the house. After I took a shit, whatever the hell I was doing at the time, and they called me and said, someone's here to see you, I came right out. And I said, who the fuck are you? And that's when he explained who he was. I'm your biggest fan. Oh, man, that almost sent shivers down my spine. That did. Because I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking of this guy's psychology. Heard this stuff before. The guy who killed John Lennon was a fan at one point. You can't trust people from social media that show up at your house. Lauren, I'd be concerned with Drew. It is definitely dangerous and mentally unstable. I know he is. I know he is. I'm prepared for him. Don't worry about that. Absolutely prepared for him or anybody else. But violence is not the answer. I think legal is the way to go. There is something called personal justice. And you could do personal justice, but you also got to think of the consequences of such. You got to keep that in mind. Will it work out for you, or will the law catch up with you, whatever? You got to think of these things before you engage in any kind of situation like that. But please, don't be misunderstood about me. I don't care what my age is. As long as 2 arms work, 2 legs work, I got a muscle in my body, I will defend myself to the death and or my family. And that goes without saying with me. I made it to be a senior. They're younger than me. Yeah. Superman, hello. Brevis might be the biggest weirdo of them all, which is really saying something. Yeah, well, a lot of people talk about Barry, but there's a different kind of weirdness between them two. There's just different worlds. Different worlds. They're both very questionable mental behavior, for sure. There's no doubt about that. But it's different. I mean, there's both nobody home when you look in their eyes, you know. But I think with Brevis, I think it goes a little deeper than that. And we don't know exactly what happened in California, why he fled here to the Philippines. We don't know exactly, but I know he worked for a dispensary. Something went down during the COVID time. Maybe things got desperate for him. Who knows? I could speculate all day long and not have the real answer, but something went down, obviously, and he fled to the Philippines. If I get suddenly cut off, you'll understand that maybe the generator went off or something. So, you know, there are some glitches in the generator. So if that happens, you'll understand. But while I'm on, why don't I just get it all out? Yeah, there's a difference between them two. There is a difference, but yet there's a similarity also. Their behavior is very questionable, to say the least. It's like their job is to be the judge and jury on YouTube and make allegations against people that are not true. Let me tell you something. If I was a child molester, would I come on YouTube? Would I put myself in public? If I broken any bad laws, would I put myself publicly on YouTube? It doesn't make any sense. People can say whatever they want, but you got to prove it. In Barry's situation, I acquired all the proof that I ever needed to bring him to trial, which is a hard thing to do, to get the fiscal to agree on something. And believe me, it's not easy. I could tell you that. So now he's on trial, and he's still locked up. 21 months, imagine that? 3 times 7, 21 months of hell. Some might say he deserves it, somebody might say that he doesn't. He's been in there long enough, but you got to understand, there's no connection between his immigration case and his criminal case in court. And the reason he stays in the cell is because he does have a criminal case in court that has to be resolved one way or the other. That's why. Otherwise, he would have been out a long time ago. He would have got his deportation. Looky here, baby. Okay. Yummer, yummer, yummer. B and B could be dance partners at the Bickerton ball. Yeah, I suppose. Oh, do I dare eat any bread today? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll have like a sandwich of this stuff or something. Renewed my green tea. Oh, I got a piece left here. Might as well use it. Yeah, we got a blustery, overcast day. It's very cool. No need for air conditioning. And the generator is buzzing away. For how long, I really don't know. There is a slight leak in there. Not much, but over time. When I went to attend to the generator yesterday, the damn thing was bone dry empty. Because I probably left a little lever on there that opens up the flow of the gas. And since it's like outside of the filter area, inside of there internally, that there's a problem. Now I hear it go up right now. Like I said, if I get disconnected on the internet here, you'll understand why. Well, as far as, deserving to be in a situation, in his situation, yes, he absolutely deserves what's going on with him. And by the way, and don't give him the credit of being a vlogger. That's too much of an honorable name to be given to somebody like him. He's not a vlogger. You could say he's a YouTuber, but he's not a vlogger. Because he doesn't have anything to talk about. He generally does not have any topic matter unless it's me. Or anybody that he disagrees with or disagrees with him. M. Lawrence says Bummer deserves to stay in the detention as long as for as long as he overstayed, yeah. Brisket says that he's an e-beggar and a slanderer. Stefan comes on. Hello, wow, I saw that last short you put up of Barry. He looks terrible. How much weight did he gain? Oh, I'm trying to think of which one you're talking about. Well, he gained a lot. But don't forget, it's been quite a while since I've seen him at the courthouse. And even at that time, that was the first thing I noticed was he had quite a belly going for him. I think the short, that was with Brevis, when Brevis went to visit him recently, right? That's probably what you're referring to. Yeah, he got huge in weight. Don't get me wrong, he needed to gain weight, but he needed to gain healthy weight. And that weight of his is not healthy weight. I know, remember the video? Trying to look like a bad boy. Oh yeah, he got the brisket sandwich, and he's like big man on campus because Brevis came to visit him. Oh joy. And he got a brisket sandwich. He's on top of the world. Brisket says Bummer's IQ points per kilogram is below whole numbers now. Yeah, pretty much stepping on the junk food. Well, what do you think, Grab is going to have, or, the places he orders from? There's nothing healthy. Pardon me a second, I drink some tea. God. Now I get itchy. There. It's really amazing. Let me grab that. Okay. Well, that's so much for breakfast. So much for breakfast. Here we go. I got a whole routine that I do here every morning. Supplements follow my breakfast, and so on and so on. The question really is, and an opinion from my viewers too. I mean, I make my own choices. It's just your opinion. On one hand, I like vlogging, but on the other hand, it's like one of these questions that'll be put to me. Frank, when do you learn? When do you learn that although you like vlogging, it's just really not it's not really conducive to, when it gets to the point, it's not really conducive to enjoyment after a while. When there's constant opposition on here all the time, it kind of takes away from your attention to what you're trying to do, or the kind of show you're trying to put on. I know a lot of people are behind me. They're not going to admit it, but they are. They know when somebody's actually done really wrong. Like I said, if I was to be, I've had so many accusations. I did this, I did that. Man, that would make a movie in a week. I've seen villains on TV, but according to these people, I'm like the biggest villain in the world. And the question is, what makes you say that? Also makes me say, look at the things they're doing. Look what they're doing. Is it any better than what they're accusing me of? No. There you go. About 5'3" would be probably correct on there, yeah. Yeah, Barry's allergic to rice and the truth. There you go. At Barry's height of 5'3", he has to be obese now. Yeah, he would be considered obese. Even I was a little bit shocked. I knew he gained weight from the last time I've seen him in person, but when Brevis came over on that video, I'm like, What the fuck? Seriously, man. I don't know, man. If I was in a situation like that, I would. I don't care if it means just walking around the room 300 times, or doing some calisthenics or something, man. You know, but you can't be stagnant like that and eat those wrong foods and expect some good results from there. Why do you think a lot of prisoners do a lot of exercise? Because it gets their GABA in their brain going. You know, it helps their health and prepares them for any kind of a confrontation with another jailmate to keep in shape. You can't do what he's doing and expect to live long and to be healthy. You can't. Well, I know he's got a big mouth. He's going to beat everybody up. How many people has he threatened so far? He's going to kick their ass other than me. Through the years, it's countless. And he has pissed a lot of people off. Well, not just me. He has pissed a lot of people off. There's no question about that whatsoever. There is none. Wow, you hear this wind? Talk is cheap. I always say that. So why don't I just do everybody one big favor and do myself a favor? You know, and just get the fuck off. See how the channel's going to survive without me on here. It'll go on for a while, but just find another victim. Isn't that what it is, historically on here? When Peter Van Dever disappeared from the scene, and he was big time. Then even Johnny, he was off for a long time after all the escapades going on with him and Allo and everybody. He was off for a long time, and people barely ever talked about him. They had nothing to say. They had no shows. They couldn't talk about Johnny anymore. They couldn't talk about Peter anymore because there was nothing to talk about. And it was the same old rhetoric over and over again when they did talk about him. Barry is simply dust in the wind. And when he does get in prison, he will be dust in the wind. Because if he thinks he's going to have use of a phone all the time, he's out of his monkey-ass mind. It's going to be quite different in a prison system than the luxuries that have been afforded to him in this detention cell. And believe me, it's luxuries as to what he deserves. The fact he's sitting there playing games. And while he's talking on his phone on a live stream, continuing to defame me. Apparently 21 months is not enough for him. Well, I'll be glad to accommodate him. Perfectly happy to accommodate him. I don't have a problem with that. If he's that goddamn bloody-ass fucking stupid to continue what he does, knowing everything's against him, even has an attorney that is very opposed to him. Oh, it's okay if it comes down to that. I'll just represent myself in court. Yeah, I can see. Your Honor, I got some papers here. It doesn't work the way. There's a protocol, Barry. You can't run into courtroom and say, I got these papers, I got this recording. No. When it comes time for you to testify, you can do whatever you want. Whether the court believes you or not. You can't run in there like you did last time with a charge sheet. Look at here, he's got a charge sheet on him. He was totally out of line. I could see Perry Mason there, representing himself in court. That somehow would have to be on camera. I mean, it would have to be. Because that would be the biggest fucking joke ever. Brevis will be his best man at the wedding. Oh, certainly. Oh, I thought I was going to be the best man. I'm a little insulted. Oh, that's Viking Sun. Hello, Viking Sun. So, getting back to you, Mr. Don Crawford, let me make you understand something, dude. You claim you're what, 68, although you look 80? How many people have seen a picture of Don C? Be honest, don't just come up with a statement. And you tell me, does he look 68 years old to you? I'm just saying this. I'm not jumping on you, Mr. Crawford. But seriously, you refer to me as an old man, but you look many years, 12 years older than I do. And everybody has an expiration date, Mr. Crawford. Lawrence says he's definitely got the great grandpa look going for him. Yes, he does. I'll agree with you on that. And Don, directly to you, you're not, you say you're pulling my chain and all that, what you're trying to do. I understand it's coming from a deep place, Something's missing in your life. Something definitely is missing in your life. I could make that educated statement and say that because, in all honesty, a man that supposedly is into this career, into AI, which, another thing, AI, keep that in mind. If you're really good with AI, that means you're really good with the computer. You could come up with text, put somebody's thumbnail on there or something, or icon. Don Crawford definitely has the capability of doing that. So all these bullshit things that he threw on there, they're not even real. AI is supposed to be the greatest thing in the world for the world, and I can't see on certain levels how it would be a great thing for the world. You can't believe half the shit that people see on these, you see on these feeds on Facebook, and it shows pictures of stars, movie people, stars and actors and other events, supposedly talking and saying something that they never said. Like they'll come up and they'll do shows, say that somebody's dead when they're not, and or they'll come up with a picture of the actor or actress or whatever it might be, and the words are not coming out of their mouth. They're using the voice of the person. Yes, we come to that technology a long time ago, actually. Could be scary. Oh, the Ansel Adams thing? Oh, he turned that around too. You have good genes and longevity in your family line. I do, but that don't mean anything. Oh, big head and saggy face. Yeah, he does. What's with the Ansel Adams? There's nothing to the Ansel Adams thing. I was simply on my cross-country thing with Greyhound. Don, of course, turns the story around on everything. There's nothing more or less than what I said. I was going to go to Big Sur to take photographs. So I'd stopped in Carmel Town because the time, I needed to get some lodging. So I rented a cheap place. Not many cheap places in Carmel. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? Ansel Adams lives in Carmel. And I know he still does at the time, It's just as a fluke. It was, as I said, just as a fluke. I looked him up in a telephone directory that came in the hotel, the motel. And I was surprised that he was actually listed. Yes, I did call. His son answered the phone. I just briefly explained who I was, why I'm calling. And Ansel did get on the phone. He actually did. I never met the guy. I never said I even met the guy. I didn't meet the guy. I told him I was a student at SVA. It'd be nice to kind of sit down and rap with him a little while and look at his work and talk a little photography. That would have been my whole trip. It would have made my whole fucking trip. But that didn't happen because he was getting ready to make a trip to New York. So the timing was really bad, unfortunately, for me. That's like a missed moment there, timing was just everything. And timing was not there for me at the time. But I did actually get to speak to him on the phone briefly. That's all it was. I never built it up into anything else. Why would I? I don't build anything up. I just tell facts. People believe it or not, and they can turn it around, whether they think I have a degree or not. It's none of their business, for one. And number two, it don't matter. Yes, I've spoken to Angela Adams. I've never, ever met the guy. Although Don builds up on that and turns the story around on everything. Never said that I met Angela Adams. Phone, yes. Personal meetup, no. That didn't happen. That's the Angela Adams stuff. Did I have work published? Yes. Oh, let's go to the Bill Gates thing, the foundation there. Let's address that too. Might as well on this one show here. Yes, I did have photographs on display there. Yes, Microsoft does have exhibits and so forth of different types of genre, different types of artwork, paintings, photographs, and so forth. And what they do with these photographs later on, sometimes they have to pay you for it, first of all. Sometimes they could sell that at some auction or something later on. If they had to hold on to all the artwork that they brought in that place, they'd have to have another storage unit or something for that. I never said anything more than that. Again, Don changed the story around. All that happened, there was a purchase of 7 photographs. I believe it was 7. They were black and white images. They were displayed. There was a kind of a little soiree that went on that day to the public. A girlfriend of mine at the time came with her girlfriend, her friend. I attended. That was it. There was nothing more than that. As to what really happens to those photographs afterwards, whether it's a private collection of his own, or it just gets dispersed on the market somewhere, whatever, to dispose of all this shit, or whether he burns it, or whatever Bill Gates does with that work. They have an art director there too, okay? And those are the people that gather the photographs. And it may not even be with Bill Gates' approval. That's a fact. Hear it from me, not from the asswipe. Hear it from me. On your replay channel, oh, a failed photographer. Where did I fail? I just didn't go into it as a profession. Doesn't mean I failed. I don't know, describe failure. What is failure? I went to college, I learned a lot. Not just photography, there's other stuff I took too. New York Tech, one of my courses there was concepts of advertising. I learned a hell of a lot on that. I learned a lot on a lot of different stuff. There was anthropology, there was a lot of courses I took. Did I come out of college a learned man? Yes, I did. No matter what my degree was, it was a Bachelor of Fine Arts is what it was. And no, I didn't have an associate degree at New York Tech, unlike Don says. It don't matter, I was shy of 2 years anyway. It takes 2 years to get an associate degree, where I come from anyway. I did not have an associate degree at New York Tech. Did not. I didn't have an associate degree at Shoreline Community College. I was shy of 2 years, but my credits from Shoreline, well, from everything actually, Shoreline was later on, so discount that. From New York Tech and Visual Arts, there was certain allowable credits you could transfer over, and that's what happened. Yes, I did get a I did get a degree in 1980. It should have been 1979, but as I said, there was a couple of credits I had to make up. I had already planned, I was finished with school, basically. I was finished. But I didn't stay long enough to attend any ceremonial things that went on to college and all that. I just wanted to get the fuck out. But I did not know that I was short 2 credits. So I had to make it up through mail, actually. I had to make it up, and I did. And that's why I received a degree in 1980 instead of 1979. That's all true. Of course, Don Crawford has to turn every story around. Even says that I'm stalking Roseanne Barr. Some of these outlandish things come up. And I'm going to tell you something, Mr. AI. He's clever with that. I will give him that. A lot of that shit that was presented in text form never was written by me. Never. I don't care what the entitlement was, what the icon was never written by me. Nor did I say probably about 85% of anything that he ever presented. That was never the case. That was Don's work or somebody else. Never. But this is what he does. He's retired. And don't put anything past him. He's in the AI business. He knows a lot. I'll give him that. He knows a lot about AI. He's probably behind some of these channels, too, that you're not aware of. What's the deal with Don C? I don't know, man. Spending half the show basically talking about him and Barry, and Brevis, the three musketeers. Jay, Don C, Jerry. Jerry's been real active with his mouth lately. None of these people can put their money where their mouth is anyway. All cowards hiding behind their cell phones. Talk is cheap. I'd like to see them in a real situation, what they do. I think you know what the result that would be. I know that. I never met Drew Barrymore at the set. Dawn, again, topsy-turvy. I never met her at the set of the movie Grey Gardens. I've never been to, Toronto, to the set of Grey Gardens. And all that bullshit about me wanting to be in a movie, that was bullshit too. That means I'd have to travel from Seattle to Toronto. For what? For what? If I actually got a 30-second extra inclusion in there or something, the transportation cost to Toronto and back wouldn't have been worth it. The same thing with the movie Lost. It was the last episode. The casting director of that, who I was bugging, my bad, I was bugging for a long time, because there was this site in Hawaii for people that wanted to try to find some acting jobs and extras and all that stuff. And she utilized this, for Hawaii when they were going to do any casting in the state of Hawaii or any one of the islands. So I was pretty gung-ho on that. And finally, the casting director writes me, says, okay, can you make it to, what do you call island at the time? I forgot if it was filmed in Oahu or Maui at the time. But this is that would have been incredible. It'd be the last episode of one of the most popular TV series in history. Well, made for TV. It was a good movie. And it would have been just for an extra part, somehow. Background, extra, whatever it might have been. It wasn't really cost effective for me to fly over to Maui at the time, and they might give you $25 or something and give you a lunch. And it just didn't seem cost effective, but I really wasn't thinking. And I turned it down because, although I didn't realize that was filming for the last episode of Lost. And if I would have encouraged I didn't know that actually. I know they kept on filming. I didn't know, because they film ahead of time for all these series go on. They film ahead of time. I did not know that this was the last of the whole series. If I had known that, I would have made more effort to do that. But even so, to go over there and just, for what? To be a 2-second extra in the background or something somewhere, or And it wasn't really cost effective. And I turned it down. An opportunity lost for the movie lost. Now that's a fact. No glory, no nothing. Never said I was in the lost movie, as Don would turn it around. I didn't go. Either at the time of that, I could not really spare the money to go fly over to Maui and get accommodations and get a free lunch from them and maybe $25 in my pocket. It just wasn't worth it. But I did not know it was the last episode of Lost. I might have encouraged myself a little bit more to do that. I would have tried. But I screwed up. I don't know if you want to really call it a screw up. It's different if you had a speaking part in a movie. Should I be there with bells on? Are you kidding? On a popular series like that? It would have been incredible. I admit. But that didn't happen, Don. I never said it did happen. And as far as meeting Drew Barrymore, I never said I met her like a personalized meeting in Toronto with the Grey Gardens film. I never said that. I met her, although not formally. And it was actually during a long time ago when I was back in college going to SVA. And there was some kind of an art event that she showed up at. I never personally sat down and conversed with her. I knew damn well who she was. This is the beginning when I started on SVA. I knew damn well who she was. For obvious reasons. Think about it. I don't ever make claim that I sat down and had a cigarette or a drink with her. I never said that, Mr. Crawford. Okay, more comments. We will know he's a master of AI if you ever see a clip of Bummer saying something both truthful and intelligent. Yeah, that would be AI. Ain't no doubt about that. That would be AI for sure. But I have met certain people. I have actually met certain people that were in my field of study. And some names may not mean anything to you, but if you were in the art world or photography world, you might know who they are. There are some very, what I might call obscure photographers out there that were big time in their work. I met a guy from New Hampshire. Uh-oh. I heard the generator clicking a little bit. This guy did a book on, it's just such a wonderful book. And he concentrated on, well, it was a lot of things in there, but he had a lot of pictures of the fall foliage, in the autumn in New England. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. The different color leaves and all the riverbeds and the hues, the colors, and the mountainsides, and it's so incredible I can't even describe it. His name, it was Dean, his last name. John Dean or James, not James Dean, the actor, John Dean or James Dean was his name. And if I could find that book today somewhere, I would buy it. In fact, I was just looking at a Van Gogh painting this morning that came up on the internet. And I was kind of a fan of Vincent Van Gogh's. There's this one scene that really brought you back in time, very ethereal. And it's a street scene, and in the scene, on the right side, you have all these streetcars. one in the foreground and some others in the background. It looked like the sun was rising and a man was sitting on a bench, and then there were people on a sidewalk coming up that way, two people walking. And then you had the street lamps were all lit up, and then all these kind of seemingly leafless trees. And then in the background was the sun. It was a golden color, and it reflected on the ground, which was damp or moist after a rain or something, and the color of orange just reflected on everything. It was such a peaceful, serene scene that I would like to make a copy of that and put it on the wall, actually. I would love to do that. It's a kind of a picture that really takes you back in time, that time machine, what we call simpler times, although not better times, but simpler in some ways and harder in other ways too. That's the beauty of an artist or beauty of a photographer, because capturing a moment in time that can never be replaced ever again. The time he took to paint that scene, it was gone. It can never be repeated again. That's why I like the arts. And people are not that appreciative, I think, of arts the way they should be. Whether it's a painting or whether it's a photograph. Remember, it's that moment in time as you click that shutter or your last paintbrush that you have created something that can never be replaced, ever. That moment in time. That's why I got interested in this stuff. Joe Green, Drew Barrymore, was 5 years old in 1980. I never set a date, sir. This was after the Grey Gardens thing. Never met her on the set, because I'd never been to the set. I'd never been there at all. And I never said I was on the set. Travel, learn, repeat. People appreciate art as they get older. Not really. I think people appreciate art at all ages. You just got to kind of open your mind. You got to kind of open your mind to that. Use your eyes. Why do you think they'll tell people to practice visualization? If you want to get rid of stress or something like that, they say practice visualizing. Think of a peaceful event, photograph, whatever it might be, or a place that you've ever been that's been very serene and very relaxing and very calming. That's a common technique that they'll tell people to do to learn to meditate and relax. It's called visualization, and try it sometime. You might find that it actually works. Well, I always appreciated art. I'm no master. I can't tell you about every great artist there is. I had to take art history, obviously, being there. I did learn a lot. I'm not sure I'm really big on the Impressionists. I did like Norman Rockwell's work, actually. I did not like Picasso's work. I think it was just too abstract for his time, and maybe even too abstract for our time. But I did really like Norman Rockwell's stuff, because he painted life as people seen it and experienced, and how family was family. He painted what we might think is very mundane scenes, but they were real. This is how families were and how people lived their life, whether it was the jobs they had, sitting at a family table for dinner. He painted early Americana, I call it, well, let's say early life styles of people, their characters, their environment, their family life, their homes. Norman Rockwell is probably one of my favorites. Vincent van Gogh's another one. And then there's some other really obscure artists that maybe some you never even heard of, but that are known in their own rights. But some people, take this stage for more recognition than others, But no, I never really got into Picasso. But art is what you want to call art. I mean, John Lennon, he basically scribbled a few things, and because he was John Lennon, well, worth $1 million or something. It's just to scribble something in his signature. Let's look at Caroline Kennedy. Caroline Kennedy, obviously the daughter of Jacqueline Kennedy. I remember when I was going to school, and she had an art exhibit in Manhattan. And I got to see it. I never met her. But I remember there was an art exhibit of her work. In her early years, she was really into photography, okay? And she got all this, acclaim and so forth that she does photography. But the fact is, her work sucked. It sucked. But nepotism, well, family, being from a well-known family, sure, she got an art exhibit at a fancy place. I forgot the name of the gallery at the time. There were many galleries in Soho, in New York, Manhattan. I saw nothing special about her work at all, but I guess it's in the eye of the beholder like anything else. But I didn't see anything special. But she got all the accolades and all that stuff because she was the daughter of Jackie Kennedy. I didn't see anything special. There's that one photograph she had up there that I remember that I thought was anything I couldn't do when I first picked up a camera. But she had the family name, and of course they're going to make a big deal that, oh yeah, Caroline Kennedy puts up an exhibit in Manhattan. Well, the young gal she was maybe had a little potential if she continued, and I don't know if she ever continued her photography. I know she had the exhibit there. And for what I seen in there, and it wasn't just her exhibit, there were other photographers' exhibits there too, but there was a main section in there, wall to wall of her stuff. Her signature, everything on there. Never met her. Never said I met her either. Never said that. But I wasn't impressed with her work. I really wasn't. Yeah, people do appreciate art to get over. Okay, anyway, I'm not going to spend much more time here. I'm going to take advantage of this cool weather out here. I got to do a few things. Shit, I don't know if I even got more paint. I was supposed to paint my wall outside, which got really kind of messed up. I think the paint was congealing. Air was getting in there. I didn't shut the can well enough. It's like, almost like a paste. Might have to buy another can. Yeah, we're going to have a blackout all day today till 5 p.m. And thank goodness I got the generator running here. So why don't I finish off again what I had to say? Don Crawford, I don't know what your problem is, but take care of your own problems. Live your life in Thailand. Enjoy your wife, whatever she is to you. Enjoy your life. Don't worry about my life, what I say or what I do. It's really none of your business. And you've been telling so many lies and turning things around about me. And every time I come up with something that disproves you, you make the time. That's why I don't know what your life is about out there in Thailand, but you make the time to try to find or discredit me in something I say, or try to find the time to come up with something completely opposite of what I may have said and even written. Because I know a lot of the shit that Crawford there put up there was not ever written by me. Was never written by me. You can put up anybody's name on Facebook or anywhere else. Go into any name you want, put an icon on there. Even I could do that. And I am very technically challenged, I will tell you that. Anybody could do that. Bummer can do that, amazingly so. Believe it or not. All right, jumping off him. Jay, let's go to Jay. Jay, mind your fucking business. You're a fucking Neanderthal. You're a fucking Aborigine. You're an alcoholic. You have fucking seizures. Don't build yourself up to be something that you're not. Nobody called you a pedophile, Jay. That's Barry's words. That's Barry's words. And all I'm saying is that we talked about a few things privately, haven't we? I'll leave it at that. Okay? Yeah. You want to kick somebody's ass, go out and kick somebody's ass and see if you can do it. Me or anybody else. Give it a whirl. You always got something to say, but why don't you put it in some action, like, you know, where I live. You got the balls to come over, anybody else? You got the balls to come over and see me? Come and see me. Don't worry about the police. Just come over and say something to my face. It's different than saying it on a computer. It's much different. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Swallow your pride a little bit, folks. And Brevis, like I said, and I'm going to let everybody know, Nika doesn't want anything to do with any of these creeps. She's going through a hard time. Again, refer back to the video of the phone conversation of Nika if you want to donate to her Maya account. Please do. I still continue to say that. Help her out. Dandy Dawn, why are you not helping her out? Why? Oh, you needed her back then, didn't you, Mr. Crawford? You needed her back then to get her to see a lawyer. And he did hire a carpenter, and he did some work in the place. He absolutely did. That was buttering her up. But since then, has he been, you know, instrumental in anything going on in her life now? Or now that he knows her health is deteriorating? What are you doing, Dawn? And you're supposed to have a lot of money. You used this woman, is what you did. That's what you did. You used this woman. Help her out. You're supposed to have money. Put your money where your mouth is. You helped her with some carpentry stuff? Okay, I'll buy that story. Why don't you help her out even more? She needs medicines, Don. I'm trying to do my job as to posting her Maya account. The best I could do for her under the circumstances. Why don't you help her out more? Are you going to let her die? Are you going to rest on your laurels and, oh, I came there and I helped fix up the place a bit? How long ago was that? That was a long time ago, Mr. Crawford. That was a long time ago. How about now? How about you helping her right now? There's a fine line between the past and the present. Quote, Edith Bouvier-Beale. I know you love that one. And there is. But you gotta understand, I could forgive, but I don't forget certain situations. And we know why you helped her out with the carpentry work, because you wanted to butter her up to get to see the fucking lawyer. But it didn't work, did it, Mr. Crawford? Now, if you're really genuine about your interest and you worried about her welfare, and you have such a concern for Nika, why don't you help her out? She'll tell me if you gave her anything, because I'll ask her. In fact, I'll probably talk to her this morning. And I'll say, I put a word out. I want to see Don C. help you out. I'm going to tell her to let me know if Don C. helps her out or not. If you really care about somebody and you know they're going through a hard time continually, you'll continually help them. He helped her then, but there had to be a price to it. That she would have to go with him to a lawyer. What would you do in her situation? Damn, you mean this guy's going to fix up my place, get a carpenter here, and get this done and that done? That's an offer I can't refuse. And she didn't refuse the offer. Henceforth, history's made. That's what happened, if you want to know the truth, folks. That's exactly what's happened. Okay, I'm going to create some magic right now. A little magic. Do you believe in magic? In the next 5 seconds, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Put your clocks on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.